Coming up on Network Africa. Somalia accuses Kenya of planning to destabilize the country as it prepares for its elections. Eyes on female vice presidential candidate as Ghana heads to the polls on Monday, 7th of December. Plus, at least 6 persons killed after a building collapse in Egypt's Alexandria. Thank you for joining us on the program today. I'm Layo Adegoke. We begin with the diplomatic row between Somalia and Kenya. The former is accusing the latter of planning to destabilize its country as Somalia prepares for its parliamentary and legislative presidential elections. Information Minister Osman Dube says Kenya is focused on ambitions to take Somali lands and waters, also accusing Kenya of political interference and hosting opposition leaders in Nairobi. On Monday, the Somali federal government recalled its ambassador to Nairobi and asked Kenya's ambassador to Mogadishu to depart for consultations. However, the Kenyan Ministry of Foreign Affairs has denied reports that it is interfering in Somalia's internal and political affairs. Meanwhile, for the first time since 2015, the United Nations Peacebuilding Commission have met to discuss Somalia and explore how the international community can support its peace-building efforts and jointly find solutions to some of the challenges to peace it faces. The Commission is an intergovernmental advisory body that supports peace efforts in conflict-affected countries. It is composed of 31 members elected from the UN General Assembly, UN Security Council, and the UN Economic and Social Council, as well as the UN system's top financial contributing countries and the top troop contributing countries.
The Peacebuilding Commission can help keep us all focused on key cross-cutting themes in Somalia, can help us mobilize resources for peace building, and it can support partnerships between Somalia and other countries that have experiences to share. Building and sustaining peace is a collective effort.
Peace and stability in Somalia has been difficult. However, Somali women have an important role in peace building and in the conflict prevention in Somalia. So Somali women are active peacemakers, mediators and negotiators. Through this NRF, the advancement of human rights and the women peace and security agenda, I'm confident that positive change for the lasting peace is possible.
Somali women are breadwinner of most of families. Somali women are natural born marriers transcending the division in the Somali community. Our potential is limitless. Our intentions are peaceful, and we demand our space, and we deserve more support.
Ivorian opposition figure Pascal Affi Nguesen, who was in detention, has been taken to a hospital in the country's main city, Abidjan. According to local media, the Ivorian Popular Front leader and spokesperson was spotted at the hospital on Monday night by residents. There were guards reportedly outside his hospital room. Now, it's unclear whether what is ailing the opposition figure, as Mr. Nguesen was arrested early last month after President Alassane Ouattara's re-election. He was then held at a secret detention facility and was not heard from until now. Well, Ghana is preparing for its elections come Monday, 7th of December, with two old rivals facing off in Ghana's presidential election on Monday. Amid familiar economic woes, many voters are paying more attention to a new element in the political mix. It's the first ever female vice presidential candidate for a major party. Now, she is former Education Minister Jane Nana Opoku Ageman, who's hoping that the decision of Ghana's main opposition, National Democratic Congress, to nominate her as the candidate for vice president will also inspire other women to enter politics.
West Africa's second largest economy has one of the highest levels of women-owned businesses in the world. Yet, just 13% of parliamentary seats are held by women. But former Education Minister Jane Nana Opoku Agyame hopes to change that, one step at a time, as she seeks her party's nomination for vice president.
But what really matters is not to be the first through the door. What matters is to hold that door open for those behind us.
Opoku Agyama of the opposition party is urging women to vote for change and to make a historic decision to have the first woman as vice president in Ghana.
What men can do, women can do better.
So we are confident Opoku Agyama can do more than we can imagine. Women are not really given a chance. We know there are a lot of capable women, and now that John Mahama has selected a female running mate, it's even more encouraging.
Opoku Agyama and the NDC's presidential candidate John Mahama, a former president of Ghana, are running against the incumbent President Nana Akufo-Addo and Vice President Muhammadu Bawumia of the ruling New Patriotic Party (NPP).
It is my hope and expectation that these statistics will soon translate into tangible benefits in the lives of Ghanaians.
This is Akufo-Addo's third head-to-head with Mahama, who narrowly won their first encounter in 2012 before losing to Akufo-Addo in 2016 by more than 9 percentage points.
Having a female running mate is indeed inspiring to young women like me, but it will be difficult to vote for the opposition party because the incumbent needs another term to complete projects that were started.
Both presidential candidates have promised more spending to help smooth economic recovery. The ruling NPP's promises include a proposed rent support scheme, while Mahama has vowed to create 1 million jobs. Like other countries, Ghana, a major producer of oil, gold and cocoa, has seen its economy badly impacted by the coronavirus pandemic.
Winston Amoa, Joy News TV correspondent in Accra, joins us now for more on the preparations towards the elections in Ghana. Thank you so much, Winston, for speaking to us on the program. Let's begin with preparations among party candidates, members, and even the citizens. How is Ghana getting ready for Monday?
Well, it's just about 4 days to the election, and so far, the two main presidential candidates, that's John Mahama and the MP Nana Akufo-Addo, are crisscrossing the country in final attempts to get people to vote for them. The citizens are waiting. Monday has been declared as a holiday, and so everybody's waiting patiently for election 2020.
Yes, and now we're seeing a familiar competition from 2012 and also 2016 between, President Akufo-Addo and the former President John Mahama. Tell us more about their presidential race.
Well, this is the third time that John Mahama and Akufo-Addo are contesting an election. They started in 2012, then 2016, and now 2020. If you look at it critically, while the former President John Mahama is talking about the need to come back, he says he's on a rescue mission. Akufo-Addo says, now, if he is changed as president of Ghana, the country would retrogress. As it stands currently, the John Mahama campaign team has promised that they're going to absorb, tertiary education fees for those going into tertiary institutions like 2020 academic year, which will begin in January 2021. The presidency is also promising the same. So it looks like for both campaigns, they're doing everything possible, including some very huge promises to ensure that Ghanaians vote for them. As to who emerges victorious, I'm sure most Ghanaians are fingers crossed, waiting for the final ballot to be counted. And by 8th December, I know who will be the next president.
Okay, now let's talk about the Electoral Commission. Is the commission ready? What is the update with, voter registration exercise? We know there was quite some controversy on it some months back as for preparations for the 7th.
Well, issues about the voters register now seems to have settled. It seems that the Electoral Commission has, gotten a lot of people come after the decision to upload the register on its website. You key in your voters ID number, you find out if your name is in the voters register. So that looks to have settled. And let me just also say that there was a special voting exercise on Tuesday. Now, turnout was over 85%, and there were no incidences at the polling stations. Few persons went out there, couldn't find their names in there. But the successful outcome of the special voting exercise, here special voting, we're talking about the security service and the media persons who be, working on election day. They voted, and because it was successful, that has convinced many Ghanaians that election 2020 and the EC's preparation is good, and they're expecting a successful election.
All right, then we'll just have to wait and see come Monday, 7th of December. I'm sure we'll be speaking to you more about it. Thank you so much, Winston Amua, Joy News TV correspondent. Thank you for speaking to us on the program. Well, moving on, 25 members of Mozambique's security forces have been killed and 15 others injured after an ambush by Islamist militants in Matambalele village in the district of Muidumbe. According to local media, a group of military personnel were on maneuvers in that region when that incident happened on Sunday. In one of the ambushes, a colonel and a major are said to have died. The victims were part of a group sent to that district to reinforce security after last week's attacks where homes were set ablaze and residents killed. The army has not been available to confirm or deny reports, but the 3-year-old insurgency in that country has killed more than 2,000 people and displaced about 500,000 others in Cabo Delgado. That's according to official statistics. Now, the UN's acting envoy for Libya is warning that there are at least 20,000 foreign fighters and mercenaries in Libya, with 10 military bases partially covered by foreign forces. Stephanie Williams told an online meeting of the Libyan Political Dialogue Forum that the presence of these forces pose a serious security crisis for Libya. According to her, this is a shocking violation of Libyan sovereignty and a blatant violation of the arms embargo. The Dialogue Forum, which includes dozens of representatives and is supported by the UN mission in Libya, has been trying to get warring parties to agree on a mechanism that will establish a transitional administration to lead the country to elections. Or some of our coronavirus stories coming from South Africa. The president, Cyril Ramaphosa, is expected to address the nation tonight on government's next moves by government to curb the spread of the coronavirus, which seems to be on the rise in the country once again. Targeted restrictions and a possible reinstatement of an earlier curfew may be on the cards as the holiday season approaches. Our South Africa Bureau Chief, Betty Dibia, tells us more.
Localized restrictions are on the cards for so-called hotspot areas across South Africa as the number of new COVID-19 cases resume an upward climb. Receiving special attention are the Eastern and Western Cape provinces, which currently contribute over 53% of the national tally on new COVID cases. The Premier of the Western Cape province, Mr. Alan Winde, who has been fighting against a return to harder restrictions, is appealing to the people for more adherence.
At the moment, our hospitals were around about 500 patients on average at a time for the last 2 months. And in the last 2 weeks, we've seen those numbers climbing every single day. And now we find ourselves with 1,165 beds taken up by COVID-19 patients. We really need everybody in our province to work together to flatten this curve. We've done it before, and we need to do it again. We cannot afford, our economy cannot afford, none of us can afford a further lockdown to curb this virus.
I'm happy as long that he's not going to close it permanently. If he's going to allow it that they must sell alcohol only certain days, then I think it's okay. But if you're closing permanently, then people, they will feel like...
No, I don't want to raise up the levels.
Why?
Yeah, because when the levels raise up, the job is scarce, you see. And the prices, then the shop is up. So I don't have money to afford this, you see. The restrictions can be much more harder again because people don't listen, don't want to put on their mask, more especially about taverns and ship-ins, they must be closed. It's even more hard even to go to the shops because you'll find some people there, they don't want to put masks, even to go to the shop, right? Some people don't adhere to the restriction of the government.
President Cyril Ramaphosa's speech to the nation on Thursday night gives details on who, where and what will be restricted and for how long. From Kailicha Township, Cape Town, South Africa, Betty Dibia, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on Network Africa. Workers at South African Airways affiliated with NUMSA and SACA picket outside the head offices. We'll give you more details after the break. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the program. As winter approaches, Egypt is bracing up for a second coronavirus wave. Officials are urging citizens to step up protective measures against an unexpected second surge of infections as they seek to relieve pressure on health services and also shield the economy from further damage.
Bustling capital, people pack shops, cafes and public transport, many of them disregarding the rules that they should wear face masks in these spaces and keep 1 meter apart. In a cafe in Cairo's Mokatam neighborhood, capacity is at a fraction of normal level, but only about half of the customers wear masks and hardly any follow physical distancing rules, said owner Mohammed Sabri, adding he is reluctant to challenge them. Despite the threat of 4,000 Egyptian pound, that's about $255 fines for ignoring the rules, many in shops, public offices, buses and metro carriages still go barefaced.
People follow the rules to some degree. While there are many that follow the rules, there are others who don't care. I don't understand why, given that it is a dangerous disease. So people should be more disciplined. Most people don't think about it or do not understand how dangerous this disease is.
Egypt's first wave of COVID-19 subsided in the summer and restrictions on movements were gradually relaxed. Up to now, the population of more than 100 million appears to have been spared the surge in infections seen in European countries. However, officially confirmed infections, which gives a partial picture due to limited PCR testing and the exclusion of private test results, have risen slightly in recent days to about 350 daily cases, prompting the government to stress again the importance of mask wearing and social distancing. But they face an uphill battle.
People are honestly wearing masks because they are worried about fines. That's it. Everyone keeps their mask in their pockets, and once the policeman comes by, or if they stop at a checkpoint, they wear it. But people on the inside are not worried about this.
In March, airports, hotels, malls and cafes all closed, paralyzing the vital tourism and hospitality sectors. Some restrictions on opening hours and capacity remain in place. Egypt responded with a stimulus package of 100 billion Egyptian pounds, that's $6.4 billion US dollars, to support its economy, where most are employed informally.
At least 6 people have died after an old 4-story building collapsed in the coastal city of Alexandria in northern Egypt. Alexandria Province Governor Mohammed El Sherif says authorities had issued several restoration orders for the old building, which collapsed on Wednesday evening, but they had been ignored. 2 families were living in the building, and those killed included 3 men and 3 women. Authorities have evacuated the building next to the one that collapsed after cracks appeared, according to the residents. Building collapses are common in Egypt because of lax building standards and poor maintenance. Well, workers at South African Airways, affiliated with the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, NUMSA, and the South Africa Cabin Crew Association, SACA, picketed outside the head offices of the state-owned flag carrier in Kempton Park on Thursday, demanding payment of their salaries. The unions have lashed out at SAA, claiming they have not received their salaries in 8 months. Last month, Finance Minister Tito Mboweni allocated 10.5 billion rand to help SAA implement its controversial business rescue plan. It is said that unions and the Department of Public Enterprise are meeting on Friday to discuss the matter.
We are protesting because we've been told that the money has been allocated to SAA, that the BRPs have received approximately 1.5 billion, and we're told that that money was given on Monday. Now, initially, when we confronted the BRPs, and this was sometime last week on Friday, to say, why haven't you guys paid the money? They said that, or rather we went to the DPE. The DPE claimed, no, we paid the money, the BRPs haven't. We asked the BRPs finally responded today and said, actually, yes, we have the money, but DPE is the one that's refusing for that money to be allocated.
What we understand is that there's been a bridging finance that has been given in order to, alleviate the current burden, for these workers that have not been paid. So our understanding is that that money is supposed to go in order to alleviate that and be paid to workers what they can. And what we understand is that the BRPs are refusing to do that. And we don't understand why. If there's money to at least, and they're saying that they need to pay the entire lump sum, that's not good enough for us. We're willing to take it in pieces. That's how desperate we are.
And finally, on the program, drought and human-wild conflict is forcing Namibia to auction off 170 high-value elephants. An advert placed by the Environment Ministry has invited tenders with specific requirements, including meeting international standards, and a permit for exporting the animals where required. Interested parties have up to the 29th of January to make an offer. Last year, the country authorized the sale of at least 1,000 wild animals that were at risk of dying of starvation as pastures in the country's parks dried up. The animals that were up for sale included elephants, buffaloes, giraffes and impala, and were also meant to generate $1.1 million for conservation. And that's how we end the program for today. Thank you for watching. I'm Layo Adegoke.